Friday's Overtime, powered by State Champs, is presented by the Southeast Michigan Ford dealers. All right, let's get this party started. The best thing our cameras got in the state of Michigan tonight. Over to the PSL Cass Tech taking on East English. That was LeSean Mumfield. Razzle dazzle, took it to David Hudson, finds Cassius Shivers, makes an outstanding one-handed grab, keeps his feet in for the touchdown.
That is a great way to start the show. And with that, we kick off Overtime, powered by State Champs, alongside Lauren Plant. I'm Mickey York. A little nip in the air here on this second weekend in October. It felt like football weather out there tonight, and now 7 weeks into the season, it's starting to feel a little bit like playoff times. The teams can't look ahead just yet, Lauren, but we can.
Absolutely, we can. Best time of the year, I would say. I think of it like the Halloween movies, okay? It's like this is about the time that Michael Myers is beginning to make his way back to Haddonfield to wreak havoc. And for a lot of teams, it really is do or die as their playoff hopes are concerned. Who will make the cut?
I see what you did there. Now, let's begin, as we like to do, by running a little no huddle before Lauren dives too far into the horror flicks tonight. The Kicking Mules of Bedford with upset hopes at Saline tonight. And the Bedford defense was a deciding factor in this one, holding C.J. Carr and the Hornets to 0 points in this one, including this fourth down stop right here to win the game. Saline suffers its first loss of the season.
All right, in the Catholic League Central Division, DCC and Orchard Lake St. Mary's getting off, and St. Mary's with a bit of trickery early on. Antoine Thomas heaves it downfield on a double pass to Chris Coates. Ooh, full highlights of this one coming up.
That wasn't the best thing we saw all night? Oh, okay.
There's another double pass you're going to see later.
Oh, that's a good tease.
Thank you.
What do we got here?
We got some of the games that we can look forward to getting. In fact, we're just kind of like been soaking all this in over the past, hour or so. Calumet and Houghton, interesting game there. Saginaw, Michigan Lutheran takes it on the chin to Ithaca. Riverview and Carlton Airport had a big game. Riverview wins another one over Airport Jets. Just can't get over that one. And you've got to see the highlights of Gladwin and Notre Dame Prep. Two teams who've never met before. It's going to be unbelievable.
All right, and elsewhere around the state tonight, it's Country Day over U of D. Bishop Foley handles Gabriel Richard. Cass Tech, a big winner tonight as well, and waiting on a foul from Oak Park and Southfield A&T. All right, you just saw two of the top teams in the MAC Red go at it here on Bally Sports tonight, but it is now time to check in on the other two games from around the state. Macomb, Dakota has taken the Reds' best shot so far this season. They've already handled Chippewa Valley and Romeo, and at 6-0, the only thing standing between them and an outright MAC Red title was 5-1 Eisenhower. The Eagles' only loss coming to Chippewa Valley in Week 3. It didn't need to be said, but it was. This was big. All right, Dakota 6-0 for the first time since 2013 and playing in front of a packed house at Dakota tonight. But it was the visitors that scored first. Preston Crum drops back, plenty of time, dumps it off to Luke O'Neill, who keeps his balance and sneaks his way into the end zone. Ike up 7-0 early. Dakota answers. Ethan Hamby hands it off to Calvin Watson. He springs through the Ike defense to tie the game at 7. Then it became the Hamby show. Every time Dakota got down to the goal line, they called Hamby's number, and every time they called his number, he answered. He punches it in not once, not twice, but 3 times. That's going to be the play call. Give it to Hamby when we're sniffing the goal line. The Cougars victorious in this one, 31-14 over Ike.
Feels great. We know we had a tough game coming in, and we know that we're going to have to work hard all game. My O-line blocked great, and they opened up the holes for me. We had a great game.
It's the first time in 9 years we're undefeated, 7-0 right now. We got 2 more games still to focus on, but we're not sharing the MAC Red at all championship this year, and it feels amazing, honestly, to be a part of this team. So it's just an awesome feeling.
We're making history out here, and I know that was the goal with my guys at the beginning of the season. It feels great that we got it done.
Yeah, that they do. Macomb, Dakota sewing up the MAC red with that impressive victory over Eisenhower tonight. And a good one we saw here earlier this evening on Bally Sports. Rob Rubick joins us now after calling tonight's game of the week between Romeo and Chippewa Valley with Johnny Kane this evening. Just a hard-fought victory by Romeo tonight. They don't do anything especially flashy, but I thought they were the more physical team in this one from the beginning, Rob.
You know, the beauty of this, Mickey, is the longer I do this, the more I realize I know very little.
Right.
Because I went into this game thinking, I just hope we have a contest. I hope that Chip doesn't run away with this, that Romeo can compete. They were battered and beat up coming in, and Coach Ryan is like, we can't get enough guys. We're moving guys off this and this and this. They're good. They are physical. They can run the football. They keep it simple, but they execute. The linemen pull extremely well. The two running backs between Victor Earl and Tyler Pressel, they run hard. They run that jet, that buck, and an inside trap. They do a great job of executing at what they do it well. Vince Lombardi would be proud. They don't do a lot, but they do it very well. And defensively, they made plays. They made a lot of plays in... I think that you have to look at Chip left a few points on the board, a few drop balls, a few plays they didn't execute well on, and it allowed Romeo early on to stay in the game, and then they took full advantage of it, and they just really were the more physical team, as you alluded to, Mickey. You're 100% correct. They were good up front. They always have been. Kurt Reinus' teams are very good in the trenches or front seven. They're not big. They're outmanned up front physically, but effort, technique, and heart makes up for a lot.
Right, so Dakota will end up winning the MAC red, but when you start to look at the rest of that division, maybe is it a toss-up between Chip Valley, Romeo, Eisenhower? They're all 5-2. They're all 3-2 within the conference. You know, there's going to be a lot of attrition there, but any one of those teams kind of in that second tier could make some noise in the postseason.
Yeah, Dakota's definitely the cream. You know, they've proven by running the gauntlet and winning all their games, and they're going to be a 1 seed in their area. But I think all 3 of the 5-2 teams will be playoff-bound teams.
Yes.
Just because of the toughness and the wins everyone else has in your conference. Their schedules are going to be conducive, getting a lot of points. I haven't seen Eisenhower. I don't know much. The other 3 I do know about, and I think Romeo can make some waves, and especially if they have some of these guys that Coach Ryan says are hurt, they can get back and really get a full squad. They can be really tough to deal with because the brand of football they play, Lauren, is playoff made. Yeah. It's physical. It's a run-oriented offense. You can throw the ball, but when the weather turns bad in Michigan, we know it will. Yeah. They're going to be ready for it.
One of the best divisions year in, year out. And Sterling Heights Stevenson was a team just a few years ago that was
last year
as good as maybe anybody in the division. And with Anchor Bay now starting to make some noise with Mike Giannone over there, who was formerly at Macomb, Dakota, and then of course at Warren De La Salle. They are a player that division top to bottom can beat anybody any given night.
Good stuff.
All right. Well, thank you. We appreciate it. Let's move now from the MAC Red to the KLAA West. The Northville Mustangs bounced back with the win over Salem following a last-second tough loss to Brighton in Week 5. They were on the road this week at Heartland tonight facing the 4-2 Eagles. But since the KLAA realigned, Heartland is 4-0 over the Mustangs. Would that continue to the game week?
From the moment the ball is kicked off, leave no doubt. Leave no doubt. Fly down that field. Fly down that field. Stay in your lane. Maintain the discipline we talked about all season. And kick the crap out of them. Leave no doubt, fellas. How you feel? How you feel? What time is it? What are we going to do? What are we going to do? What are we going to do? Get out there and dominate.
I love Coach Laddick, week in, week out. Hey, Heartland riding a 3-game win streak, but at 4-2, really in need of a win, or the playoffs could be a pipe dream. Tonight, tough road to hoe on homecoming versus the 5-1 Mustangs. Northville with the ball. Luca Pryor hits Colin Charles on the screen. He goes 39 yards all the way to the house, 7-0 Northville. Heartland would strike back. Later in the quarter, actually, this is Pryor finding Caden Besco streaking down the middle. He stumbles down inside the 5. Caleb Moore would later punch it in for the 14-point lead. After a quick Heartland touchdown, Northville with the ball again when Mitchell Cavanaugh steps in front of a Luca Pryor's pass. Nothing but green grass in his way. 32-yard pick 6, knotted the score at 14. Final minute of the half. Heartland at the 5. James Buzzier finds Jackson Wilson to give the Eagles a 21-14 lead. Into the third, Northville's Caleb Moore takes the sweep to the right. He's going to dance through a couple of defenders, refusing to go down. 38-yard score. We were all tied at 21. It's a good game. In the fourth, Luca Pryor is going to fake the handoff. He will make his way to the pylon. That gave Northville their first lead since the first quarter, and they go on to win this one 28-21.
We pick each other up. The offense has my back. Defense definitely has my back. Coaches have my back. They believe in me. I came out there. I believe in myself, and just got to make plays. We run the football successfully, and you know when you run the football, it opens up the passing game. Caleb Moore had a hell of a job. Did a hell of a job today. Offensive line did a hell of a job today too. 0 sacks. It's always a great thing. But when you can run the football, it opens up the passing game. Makes my life a hell of a lot easier.
Spoken
He's
like
right.
a true quarterback.
He's right about that.
He is right, and they are 6-1 on the season.
That's an impressive win on homecoming at Heartland. All right, still a lot to get to, including a return to Romeo for highlights and post-game reaction from our game of the week. And we have only just begun here on this edition of the OT. Still to come, we take our weekly tour around the state of Michigan. We'll start in the UP where there was snow today. And we have an axe to grind at Elkton-Pigeon-Bayport when we roll on this first Friday in the month of October. Hey, just because you play on Thursday doesn't mean you can hide from our cameras. We'll find you. Chandler Park hosting Detroit Leadership Academy last night is a 6-6 game in the fourth when the Cougars' Alante White picks off this offering and races 46 yards to the bank. Credit the account for 6. The two-point conversion failed 12-6 Cougars. Chandler Park trying to draw even with 3 minutes remaining. Javon Hawk goes wildcat and scampers 14 yards to tie the two-point conversion. Again, no good. We go to overtime. Both teams score on their opening possession. Now even at 18, Chandler Park on the goal line when Terenzo Harris sneaks it in to make it 24-18 Eagles. Cougars need a touchdown to tie, but instead they fumble. Darnell Hall picks it up and tries to find someone, but he was not looking for Emmanuel Love Jr. The pick seals it. Eagles win it in overtime, improving to 3-4 on the season.
Well, I'll tell you what, there was a lot of pink on that field, you know, and that's not a fashion statement. It's actually October. It's Breast Cancer Awareness Month, so good on those guys for doing it. And, of course, if you're hungry, head over to Hungry Howie's. They'll take care of you. It's the pink boxes. All the proceeds go to benefit breast cancer awareness.
Yeah, saw a lot of pink at a lot of the games around the state tonight, including at Dakota, that great crowd that they had out there for the Eisenhower game. All right, still to come, we will head to the middle of the mitten for a battle between unbeaten Michigan Lutheran Seminary and once-beaten Ithaca. But before we head there, we head way north where the snowflakes are already starting to fall, Lauren.
Yes, we start just about as north as you can get in the state of Michigan. The 5-1 Houghton Gremlins play way up in the ear of the Upper Peninsula. But believe it or not, they actually had to travel even further north tonight to Calumet to take on the 3-3 Copper Kings. But Calumet has owned this matchup, winners of 8 straight over the Gremlins. Both teams beat their opponents last week. Actually, it was a couple weeks ago by a combined 97-0. This had to be a shootout, right? No shootout in this one, but it has been one-sided. Calumet up 28-6 in this one after the pick 6 by the senior Amir Patterson. It was all Copper Kings, including Patterson. He's going to do it this time on offense. He is going to run the 15-yard touchdown to go up 35-6 over Houghton. Calumet wins this one by a final of 35-12.
No snow there yet.
No.
I heard they had some in Marquette today, though. All right, we continue our tour around the state by traveling just over 500 miles from Calumet to Elkton, which is located in the Thumb. The Lakers of Elkton-Pigeon-Bayport looking to stay perfect on the season as they welcome the 5-1 Hatchets from Bad Axe. The Lakers and Hatchets, by the way, both 4-0 in the Greater Thumb Conference West. Bad Axe's only blemish coming in a Week 1 loss to Ubley. But it's the Lakers that got off to a quick start. First quarter, quarterback Ethan Wisner with a 15-yard touchdown pass to tight end Tyson Steinman, and it was 7-0 Laker. To the second quarter we go. Ethan Wisner with another touchdown, this one with his legs. He's got legs, and he's not afraid to use them. From 40 yards out, Lakers up 14-0. Bad Axe with a nice drive late in the second quarter. Running back Griffin Meinhold takes it in from 5 yards out. The Hatchets chop the lead to 14-7. Lakers in the third with a 40-yard pitch and catch from Connor McClain to wide receiver Jace Sears that made it 20-7. Lakers hold on to win it by a final of 26-14 as they remain unbeaten.
All right, let's head back down south, down river, in fact, to Riverview, to be exact. For homecoming, the Pirates a perfect 6-0 on the season. But if they were to lay claim to another Huron Division title, they would have to hold off the 5-1 Jets of Carleton Airport. Riverview.
When we walk back out through that gate, right next to their student section, you're going to hear it, it's going to rain down on you, and I'm telling you, there's no better feeling in the world. It's awesome. Remember, we're going to fight for 48 minutes. You've been here before. And we're going to go ruin everything, get a big win, and get a piece of the title. Let's go. Let's go.
All right, so Riverview is riding a 25 regular season game winning streak on homecoming weekend. An airport win would make 2022 the winningest season for the Jets since 2011 and their first win against Riverview in a decade. We pick up action in the second. QB Lucas Thompson finding a wide open Anthony Bowman, 28-yard touchdown. The senior put the Pirates up 6-0. They were trailing 7-6 with 19 seconds left in the half. Riverview runs a little trickery. Jacob Shank goes untouched into the end zone, puts the Pirates up 12-7. Riverview would take that momentum into the second half. Senior running back Anthony Bowman scoring his second touchdown, this one of 28 yards, and this one, of course, on the ground. They led 18-7. Airport would score a touchdown in the fourth. Wouldn't be enough as Riverview wins again, 18-13, their 26th straight regular season win.
It was a great atmosphere. It was a great game. We knew Airport, they're a very good team. They're a very well-coached team. And, you know, they caused us a lot of problems today. And we got some guys that are learning, and we made some mistakes, but we kept battling. And we talked to the guys beforehand about, you know, you're going to make mistakes, and you got to keep fighting. And, you know, it was a heck of a ball game. I'm very proud of our kids. And I'm very proud of the Airport kids, too, man. They fought, and they clawed, and it was a great football game.
Riverview looks good, and you cannot sneeze at that winning streak that they have put together.
Absolutely. I think the Pirates are a team that is every year is getting better and better. This program is believing in themselves, and I think we're going to see them in Ford Field before not too long. I will make that claim.
That's a good win over a vastly improved Carleton Airport team. All right, we will head to the middle of the state next. Ithaca, to be exact. The Yellow Jackets flying high again this season, but could tonight be the night that the Cardinals of Michigan Lutheran Seminary soar just a bit higher? Highlights from the battle for the Tri-Valley Conference West title when the OT returns.
Hey, for the first time this season, we're going to take a look at some 8-player football action from Thursday. Auburn Hills, Oakland Christian looking to go 6-1 on the year on the road at Genesee. Oakland Christian junior Solomon Martin had himself a night. That was technically a pass, a jet sweep, untouched, 50-yard score. The lead increased to 22, minute to go in the half. This is not a replay, I swear. Martin again, the exact same result. This time from 43 yards out, Oakland Christian went into the half leading by 30. All Lancers tonight. Backup QB Jordan Johnson, he'll find the end zone. Lancers blank the Wolves, 50-0.
I'd like to get a little 8-man highlight in there. Normally we don't get to that till the playoffs or we cover the championship game, but it's such a fun brand of football to watch.
Generally, you're getting 50 to 49 games.
Yeah, you know, which is great.
Which is great.
Yeah, all right. Well, good for Oakland Christian. That's a nice win for them going on the road to Genesee tonight. Speaking of going on the road, we're going to make our way over to Ithaca. You know, this has been one of the top programs in the state for years now. Former head coach Terry Husbrook helped turn them into a perennial power. He was at the helm from 2004 until he retired from coaching after the 2020 season. During his tenure, Terry led the Yellow Jackets to 7 Division VI state championship games, including taking the championship crown home in 5 of those appearances. Husbrook also helped the Yellow Jackets win 69 straight games from 2010 to 2014, which ranked second in MHSAA history. But when Terry retired, the program remained in the hands of a Hesbrook. His nephew Jordan now running the show, and tonight the Yellow Jackets were hosting the Cardinals of Michigan Lutheran Seminary. Ithaca, by the way, just about halfway between Lansing and Mount Pleasant, right off US 127. If you're driving by, you can even catch a play or two if you're doing the speed limit and you're not looking at your cell phone. Let some high school football serve as your driving distraction for a change. There you go. All right, at one of the finest facilities in the state, Ithaca's Community Stadium and Veterans Memorial Field, a new playing surface there at Ithaca, and it was a good day for Yellow Jackets senior quarterback Bronson Bupp. Here he is, kind of fighting for some extra yardage to get it down inside the 10-yard line. He'd later punch it in from the goal line. 2-point conversion was good. Ithaca up 8-0. Bupp again here, carving his way into the end zone from 2 yards out to put Ithaca up 15-0. But look, he didn't just do it with his legs. He could throw it a little bit too. Bupp hooks up here with Charlie Martin, who's waiting for him all alone at the goal line. The 2-point conversion was good to make it 22-0. Back to the ground here. Bupp again, sweeping it around the left side. Nothing he couldn't do tonight. He had a hand in just about all of the Yellow Jackets scoring this evening. Ithaca rolls by a final of 50-18, handling Michigan Lutheran Seminary its first loss of the season. You know, the first names may change, but the last name of the coach does not at Ithaca. Jordan Hesbrook, kind enough to join us now as his Yellow Jackets improved to 6-1 on the season. Jordan, this was a good Michigan Lutheran Seminary team you were facing tonight. What was the key to the win?
Yeah, you got that right, Mickey. Michigan Lutheran Seminary is a very good team. The thing I was most proud of with our kids tonight was they faced adversity a couple times, and we told them Michigan Lutheran Seminary is a good team. They're going to make plays. They had a couple penalties called against us, and Seminary made some plays. But I was very proud of the way that our kids responded each time. They didn't complain. They didn't get on each other. They just kept playing, and were able to pull out the victory tonight.
We mentioned what your uncle was able to do while he was there. They say you never want to be the man that follows the man. What's it been like assuming the reins there in Ithaca?
Well, you know, Mickey, that's something that people talk to me about when I first took over. And to be honest with you, we don't think about that. Our goals are still our goals. We still want to win every single game that we can play. And the state of Michigan says that we can play 14 games in a season. So our goal is still to go 14-0 every single year and to win a league championship, district, regional, state championship. And those are still our goals. You know, it's nowhere our goals to be different than Terry Hesbrook or to try to make our own name or anything along those lines. We're there to serve our kids and to raise our players in our program with the values that we've had instilled in us and continue that tradition. And to be honest with you, we stay focused on that. We don't really, at least I haven't thought about those things at all.
Well, I mean, you talked about those goals, and you're so used to winning there. How much has that culture helped you sustain success at Ithaca? Does winning breed more winning?
I think so. It's and I don't know if it's necessarily winning breeds more winning, but I think work breeds more work. to where your players are used to coming into the weight room, and they understand that when summer comes, it's lifting and 7-on-7 season, and during the winter, it's time to get back in the weight room, in the spring, and so on and so forth. And so I don't think it's necessarily winning, but there's a lot that goes into that, and I think it's the little things that lead to winning that continue to be passed on from one class of seniors to the next class, and so on and so forth.
You have Carrollton and Shepherd left the next 2 weeks. What would you like to see from your team before heading into the playoffs?
There's some little things that we need to continue to improve on. I thought tonight we had too many penalties, and those are some things we need to continue to clean up, play with more discipline, and just continue to obviously grow. Everybody wants to be playing their best football as they reach the playoffs, and continue to improve as they go through the playoffs. You want to be playing your best football at the end of October and in November. So I think those are the things that I want to see us continue to improve on and grow as we move forward.
All right, Jordan Hesbrook, the head coach of the now 6-1 Ithaca Yellow Jackets. Jordan, thank you. Best of luck to you and the kids the rest of the way.
Hey, thank you. I appreciate it, Mickey. Appreciate all you guys do covering high school sports here.
Thanks a lot. It's one of our favorite times of year. We enjoy it so much as well. All right, there's still much more to come here on this edition of the OT. Before we head to break, let's check in with Sydney Carriel, who is hanging out at Detroit Country Day High School tonight.
Hey guys, Sydney Carriel here at Country Day for a really good game in this one. And let me just tell you, it is starting to feel like fall football weather outside. Country Day hosting U of D Jesuit, and we'll have all the highlights and reaction from this game and a full slate of Catholic League games coming up on Football Fridays Overtime, powered by State Champs.
It's a nice Friday night for a drive, and the Gladwin Flying G's taking full advantage of it, taking the 2-hour drive down I-75 to Pontiac for a matchup with the 5-1 Fighting Irish of Notre Dame Prep. First ever meeting on the gridiron between these two schools. So, 6-0 Gladwin versus 5-1 Notre Dame Prep. The independent Fighting Irish playing and looking to qualify for the postseason for the 4th straight year. This would be 3 playoff appearances in a row for the Flying G's. And besides a matchup in 2020 with Dexter, they never take on teams from the South. Ladies and gentlemen, we had a heck of a game. Gladwin making a statement off the jump. The double pass.
There it is again.
There it is. Wide receiver Lucas Meade finds a wide open Jace Massey 60-yard pitch and catch. Junior quarterback Jacob Tuttle in the shotgun drops a dime in the arms of Joey DeCassis. That got the Irish on the board. We're going to move to the second quarter. Tuttle again this time. He's going to find Jeremy Gale. It was 13-6 Irish. Gladwin with the ball again. This time, Logan Kokotovich gets to the edge, finds Paydirt. It was a 19-13 Gladwin lead at the break. Late in the third, trailing by 12, Indy's Jacob Tuttle going deep again, finding Matthew Sadecki, his 3rd TD of the night. That cut the lead to just 5. But in the 4th, Nick Wheeler hits Lucas Meade on a screen, who will tiptoe down the sideline all the way to the end zone, 62 yards on the play. Gladwin takes it 33-27.
Quite the aerial show between those two teams tonight. Have we ever determined what a flying G is?
No, we haven't.
I'm sure someone in Gladwin could tell us. I don't care. I like it.
I love it.
Yeah.
And I love when teams like this get together and play because we never see it, and I want to see more of it.
And they put on a great show. We enjoyed it. And how about those flying GRs from Ann Arbor?
I'll give you that.
Gabriel Richard.
I'll give you
I don't
that.
think they called them that. The Fighting Irish
Yes.
trying to snap Bishop Foley's 6-game winning streak. But head coach Brian Barnes of the Ventures, they had some other ideas.
Seniors, you're only guaranteed 3 more of these. Enjoy every opportunity, enjoy every moment of this, okay? We talked about it before, no excuses, right? Long bus ride and stuff like that, it doesn't matter. We want to play a clean game. Hasn't happened in a while. Be perfect and let's play a clean game. It's not about them, is it? Who's it about? It's about us. You're darn right it is. Let's go win a football game. Here we go.
Let's go. Hey, 4 on 3. 1, 2, 3.
Yeah, Barnes and the Ventures edged Riverview Gabriel Richard by a point last week, trying for the Gabriel Richard double dip tonight. We'll start in the first quarter. Game tied at 7. Foley's Gus Toppy able to break the seal to give Foley the 14-7 lead. Foley would add to that lead in the second quarter, this time through the air. Angelo Costanza with a laser to Drew Maselko for the 30-yard strike. 21-7 Foley. Coming out of the half, here comes Gabriel Richard. It's James Kendzicki hooking up with Kevin Beers. Pour one out for your homies. It's a 65-yard score. Foley's lead cut to 7. But the Ventures would answer. Costanza to Toppy for a nice catch and an even better run. Slips a couple of tackles and takes it down inside the 5. Toppy would punch it in on the next play to make it 28-14. Foley goes on to win it 34-14 to improve to 7-0 for the first time since 1973.
Royal Oak Shrine traveling to University Liggett for a late afternoon brouhaha. See what I did there?
I did.
Both teams named the Knights here. Liggett cheerleaders trying to stay warm. Would they have a lot to cheer about? Yes. Liggett on the board first. Solomon Spann will find Jack Jones at the goal line, securing the 20-yard bomb through contact. Liggett up 7-0 in the half. Shrine wouldn't go quietly. QB Caden Barbito finds Frank Farrick over the middle, showing off his speed, and he was dragged down at the 2. Shrine then scored, and the QB keep the pull within 3, 10-7. Later, ROS back on offense and driving until Liggett's Jermaine Calloway with the pick 6, 38-yard touchdown. Liggett up 16-7. In the 4th, Shrine retorts. Barbito to Andrew Ballou, weaving his way in the end zone. A block extra point kept Shrine down 3. Game expiring, last chance for Shrine. 4th down, and whether you saw it or not, Barbito's pass was knocked down at the line of scrimmage. Liggett hangs tough and holds on 16-13, the final.
To Country Day now, where the Yellow Jackets are hosting the Cubs of U of D Jesuit, winners of the Catholic AA division. Country Day would get on the board first in this for Gabe Winovich, 2 yards out. Makes it 7-0 Jackets. U of D would tie it, though, thanks to this quarterback sneak from Anwar Carter. For Country Day up 9-7 at the half. Winovich would score his 2nd touchdown of the day to put Country Day up 15-7 in the 4th now after the Cubs cut it 15-13. It's Graham Dolman who would ice it for the Yellow Jackets with a 15-yard touchdown run. Country Day goes on to win it 22-13 to improve to 5-1 on the season.
We're joined now by Coach McLean. A gritty performance by your guys down the stretch. What did you say? What was your message to the team after the game?
You know, the team, we really didn't do a lot of talking this week. We just said we have to come and deliver, and, you know, UD is always a challenge for us, and our guys stepped up. And, you know, both teams, I think, fought through injuries, played very hard. It was a, you know, I'm a product of the Catholic League Central Division. U of D is, you know, that kind of a school, and I thought our kids showed a lot of toughness as hanging in there against them, and it was a really good hard-fought football game, and proud of our kids and that we had enough to come out on top.
Yeah, Coach McLean, a Brother Rice alum. Sydney, thank you very much. One final game on our Catholic League segment involves 2 teams with 2 different mindsets. Detroit Catholic Central entered tonight's game coming off a game where they got shut out on their home field by De La Salle. Meanwhile, Orchard Lake St. Mary's came in fresh off a big win over Brother Rice last week. I mean, it is always a war of attrition in the Catholic League, which makes it wholly unpredictable and entirely entertaining.
Get a look at late, and He'll send 3 wide receivers out. He's looking deep right away for Mooney. Throwing deep, got a man caught at the 5. Down at the 1 is Ryan Mooney. Out of the 2. Look at this, full house, handoff, left side, Cole Olston. The goal line running back is into the end zone. Touchdown, Eaglets. Yep, that's Nico Genrich. Nope. Give up the middle, and it's a touchdown, Catholic Central. And he plays for him. Throw left side, double pass coming up. Antoine Thomas looking deep, it's caught! Wide open territory, could go, touchdown Eaglets!
They're getting gashed in the middle, there you go.
Jackson throws left side, Blakita into the end zone, touchdown Shamrocks. 139 yards for the senior headed to Alabama. Jackson pitch and go, wide open end zone, caught, touchdown Catholic Central. Catholic Central wins it. They bounce back on a short week after playing Sunday.
Hey, double pass extravaganza tonight. Was that the 3rd or 4th one we've seen in tonight's highlights?
We have
everybody calling the same plays.
I know. We have seen a lot of it. Detroit Catholic Central back to form. This is a wild Central division. We have had some big upsets, and then we've had teams win that we should. I think now things are starting to settle in the division. Catholic Central looking to make a claim that they're going to be a team to beat in Division I.
All right, coming up next, we throw the spotlight on a couple of the state champs, Mr. Football candidates at the quarterback position, and 2 junior signal callers, number 12 Saline and C.J. Carr in action at home versus Temperance Bedford, and our first shocker of the night. Those highlights coming up next.
Football Fridays Overtime, powered by State Champs, is brought to you by Lead Prep Academy, a postgraduate high school program for football and basketball student athletes, and by the Michigan High School Athletic Association, promoting the value and values of educational athletics. All right, well, let's get an update in the State Champs Mr. Football Award presented by Hungry Howie's. Now, we are well into the competition as we seek to crown the 15th Mr. Football. We often get asked, how do you select Mr. Football? Let me fill you in. We have a criteria the selection committee goes by. 30% goes to performance throughout the season. 20% is level of competition. 20% is attributed to the online voting champion. 15% goes to big game performance. 10% is team success. and the final 5% is to the highest recruited athlete of the group, because we always feel those highest recruited athletes have the biggest bullseyes on their back, but we just attribute a very small percentage to our criteria. Now, the online vote winner automatically is in the Final Four. The committee chooses the other 3, and we have a battle royale going in the voting. As of tonight, Dexter's Cole Cabana with over 15,500 votes. West Bloomfield, Samaj Morgan, just over 18,000 votes tallied. Now, even if your candidate is nowhere near those totals, keep voting. When selecting the Final Four, if we're torn, we look at the support a candidate received. Go to statechampsnetwork.com, click on the Mr. Football banner on the homepage, and there you can vote every 3 minutes for your guy. So do it now. All right, CJ Carr and his Saline Hornets team are on a collision course with unbeaten Dexter next Friday. Now, both teams entered tonight in a tie at the top of the SEC Red. And while next week's game was huge, they've won 8 straight over Temperatte's Bedford. So, was this a trap game versus the Kicking Mules? Let's find out. There's an old saying, this is why we play the game. The Kicking Mules clearly ready to go tonight versus number 12, Saline. And Temperatte's Bedford struck first with a 5-yard burst into the paint by the senior running back, Trey Brueggemann. Bedford with the early 7-0 lead, and the Kicking Mules were kicking all night. CJ Carr, the Notre Dame commit, sacked by Thomas Huss. The Hornets offense struggled to make anything happen on offense, but the defense came to play. Huge stop on 4th and goal by the senior Andrew Harley. Saline stayed down 7-0 at halftime. The Bedford defense had Saline's number all night. First, the stop on 4th in the red zone. The Hornets short of the line again. Then on a 4th down, with the Hornets needing a first down, the Kicking Mules step up and they would stop Saline. The camera couldn't believe it, giving Saline their first loss of the year. Bedford 7, Saline 0. Hornets will look to bounce back versus Dexter next week.
I mean, that's a little bit of a shock.
We are stunned here. Everyone here.
That's
and
right.
That's why we don't even know what we're doing.
Those highlights were so good, I thought we should just watch them again.
We were just sitting here stunned.
Look, that's a heck of a win for Bedford. I mean, their defense to hold Saline scoreless is impressive.
And is it not the greatest nickname?
I love the Kicking Mules. Love it.
Kicking Mules.
Right. We had some good ones tonight.
No,
we got
good
the
for them.
Flying
Good for
the Kicking
them.
Mules in the show. You know it's a good show. And now that Saline has lost, next week's game against Dexter could very well set the Dreadnoughts up to win the Southeastern Conference Red Division Championship straight up for the first time in like forever.
It would be forever. And add that to Mr. Football candidates going head-to-head, or will they both still be in the race? Watch Extra Point on Wednesday on the State Champs Network. Could be some changes coming.
The plugs keep coming as well, so that you got to take advantage of it when you can. In Southfield tonight,
shameless.
The Warriors of Southfield A&T started the night 5-1, 4-0 in their division, and looking to claim an OAA white title. The only team standing in their way was the Oak Park Knights, a Greg Carter's team yet to win a game this season, but the Knights have been in just about every game they played so far this season. So could they come in and spring the upset tonight? Southfield will get on the board first. Isaiah Marshall handing it off here to Javen Jones. He takes it right up the gut and crosses the plane. Warriors lead 7-0. But Oak Park, as we said, they're going to fight you. Second quarter, same end. Somewhere in there, the ball made it into the end zone. The extra point, no good. 7-6 A&T. The Knights playing inspired, though. Here's Bishop James, drops back, sees a lane, takes it himself, sneaks it inside the pylon, and high steps to make it a 12-7 game in favor of Oak Park at the half. So an upset brewing, but all A&T after that. Marshall able to take things into his own hands, barrels in from 5 yards out to give Southfield A&T the lead. Then he goes to the air here. Tashi Braceful in the corner of the end zone. That was a beautiful pitch and catch from 30 yards out. Southfield A&T with the early scare, but they get it together, and the Warriors go on to win it by a final 35-12. And we will see even more of Southfield A&T when they cross over to face West Bloomfield next week at A&T. Both of those teams will have a challenge stopping one another. There may not be enough lights available on the scoreboard to keep up. It kicks off here on Bally Sports at 7:30 next Friday.
All right, well, let's get into a little State Champs Anvil Award talk. This award also presented by our friends at Hungry Howie's. Now, if you were with us during Mr. Football, then you know we have a criteria. Same criteria applies to the Anvil. Now, as you see, our top 10, no changes in the candidates this week. We're looking to name the top lineman or linebacker in the state. Mr. Football, of course, the skill position. Now, as I stated in that, the online vote is very important. The leading vote getter, when we end the voting after regionals, will automatically have a spot in the Final Four and will also have a 20% advantage to win the whole thing. So you ask me, does voting matter? It matters. Who is currently in the driver's seat as far as the vote is concerned in the 5th annual State Champs Anvil Award? How about Dearborn Divine Child offensive lineman Dylan Senda, 6'5", 285, the Northwestern commit, racking up nearly 5,000 votes. West Bloomfield junior defensive end Brandon Davis Swain sitting in second. The Notre Dame commit with about 2,500 tallies. Vote for your guy right now at statechampsnetwork.com.
All right, up next, it's back out to our game of the week in Romeo. All the highlights from this MAC Red, what turned out to be a dogfight between the Big Reds and the Bulldogs when the overtime continued. The PSL, where Cass Tech looking to get over 500 for the first time this season. The Technicians on the road to take on the Bulldogs of East English Village Prep. Didn't take long for Cass to find points. Just 2 minutes in, Elijah Jordan takes the reverse from LeSean Mumfield and races into the end zone for 23 yards out. Put off 7-0. Second quarter now, Cass up 14. Look at the moves from Mumfield here. Breaks the tackle from David Hudson. Finds sophomore Cassius Shivers. Why use two hands when you only need one? The kid has mitts. And he keeps his feet in bounds as well. That was fancy. 21-0
Literally
Cass.
has mitts.
They weren't done making highlight reel plays. This time, Mumfield finds sophomore Alex Graham on the screen. Graham refuses to be brought down by any would-be tacklers. Reaches the ball across the pylon and put the Technicians up 28-0. Cass Tech rolls 35-0 to improve to 4-3, setting up a rematch for the PSL championship game. And in the first meeting between King and Cass Tech, we kind of joked that the referee was the star of the show, but a lot of penalties in that game, and a game that King held on to win 28-23.
No doubt, Dante Moore played phenomenally. Cass made it interesting at the end. Do you notice their uniforms were just crisp white, even at the end of the game? You know, I want to see East English Village get back to where they were, but that's a side note. But we'll see if the Technicians can earn the title of Kings of the City next week at Wayne State. Hey, we had a really good rivalry game this week on the Football Friday Game of the Week between Romeo and Chippewa Valley. Johnny Kane and Rob Rubik on the call.
Perfect night for high school football on the first Friday in October. Hello, 42 degrees.
Ooh, sneaky.
Got one receiver down at the bottom of the screen. That's Giorgio Ruffino. There's motion. They fake the sweep. And no, they do give it off. Look out. Tyler Pressel around the right side, fooled everybody. Two of the leaders, not just on the defensive side, but really putting his team on their shoulders this season. And looking into the end zone and caught by Pressel. Touchdown, Romeo. Take a look at the three horses behind Andrew Schuster. Who's it gonna be? Touchdown, Big Reds. Motion, Pressel, left side, touchdown. Schuster got three receivers here at the near side of the screen. Finds Kalen Shaw. What a stop. Shaw stays on his feet. Shaw still on his feet. No way. An impressive performance at home at Barnabo Field. Romeo gets it done over Chippewa Valley.
Yeah, tonight's game of the week presented by your Southeast Michigan Ford dealers. Chippewa Valley not used to being held in check offensively. 17 points, matching their lowest scoring output of the season, which occurred in a Week 5 loss to Dakota. The Romeo defense just would not break tonight. Their fans and student section helping inspire the Bulldogs tonight, and you have a chance to showcase your student section as well. Your high school can be crowned the best Football Fridays fan base. You can vote now in the weekly poll on the Bally Sports Detroit Twitter page. The winning school of all the schools gets bragging rights and this really cool neon sign.
I love
Poll
that.
closes on Monday. Bally Sports Detroit Football Fridays presented by your Southeast Michigan Ford dealers.
I really want that sign. Hey, it was another Friday night filled with peak performances and powerful plays from all around the state. We'll pick the one that stood out above all the rest when we decide this week's DMC Game Changer when Football Fridays OT, powered by state champs, continues.
Football Fridays Overtime, powered by State Champs, is presented by the Southeast Michigan Ford dealers. Think Ford first. By Alta Equipment Company, Michigan's #1 construction equipment provider with over 40 brands. And by Lead Prep Academy, a postgraduate high school program for football and basketball student athletes.
And so much more. All right, here's some top scores from around the state, and we had some big ones. #1, Belleville, taking care of business, 49-10 over Livonia Stevenson. Caledonia, ranked #7 on the state. They may climb soon. They beat Grand Haven 47-12. Rochester Adams getting it done as they do. They beat Stony Creek 44-18. River Rouge all over Allen Park. They take care of the Jags 30-0.
And here's a look at results from the top 15. Number 11, Davison rolling over Carmen Ainsworth 51-6. Dexter setting up that showdown with Saline after blowing out Monroe tonight. Rockford keeps it going with a 42-31 over Hudsonville, and Clarkston in their rivalry with Lake Orion. It was a shootout, but the Wolves edged the Dragons by a final of 45-41.
In the end, you only remember the final score. Time now for the DMC Game Changer of the Night, and this is the first time we picked a defense as the winner. Not a defensive play or a player, but a whole defense. The Bedford defense held it down tonight, holding Mr. Football candidate C.J. Carr and the 6-0 Saline Hornets scoreless. Let's go ahead and give them all the Anvils, too. Why not? For now, the defense is the DMC Game Changer of the night.
Well deserved, as we talked about earlier. And we learned some things this week, and I think Rob Rubik said it best. We learned that maybe we didn't know everything we thought we knew about some of these teams going into this season.
Never look past an opponent. And I'm not going to say that certain teams have done that, but this is the time of year where you have to really bring it for 4 quarters. We saw Clarkson escape. Yeah. We saw Southfield losing at the half to Oak Park. There were a lot of scares tonight. Again, most of the teams won, but Saline, 6-0 team, goes down. They can make it up really quickly with a win over Dexter, but, you know, really fun, and we're getting ready for playoffs.
Hey, Romeo, even in our game of week, maybe a little bit of an underdog coming into that game at home against Chippewa Valley, and they were able to hold off the Big Reds there tonight.
And every year, it's a battle between those teams. Romeo last year came back from 20-0 and or 20 points down in the fourth. They win, and boy, I'll tell you what, we're excited.
Another good game on tap for next week's game of the week. West Bloomfield on the road at Southfield A&T. Lots of talent on both sides of the ball for both teams. Samaj Morgan headlines that list for the Lakers, and Isaiah Marshall, of course, leads the way for A&T. It kicks off next Friday at 7:30 here on Bally Sports Extra and on the Bally Sports app.
Congratulations to all the teams who punched their ticket to the postseason. It's no longer a 6-win and you're in type of scenario. It's points, but there are plenty of you who are locked. You're in, finish strong, and let's get ready for what sure to be a raucous, incredible playoff run. You better be here next week. Be the first to know what happened in Week 8 of the Michigan high school football season. Watch Southfield A&T versus West Bloomfield, and then watch us here on the OT, powered by State Champs.